Let's move on to question number 2. What do you think about the future of Mesquite from a business perspective?
You know, I think that Mesquite is in a critical position right now. I think that when I talk to my dad, he feels very confident because Mesquite has grown enough in the last 15 years since we first built the Eureka that he says we have critical mass, and all that work gives us enough to really withstand this downturn and continue growing. The mass I'm talking about is the hotel casino industry. We have a hospital. We have almost 19,000 people. St. George has really grown, so our economies are fairly connected. I think we have nice properties and we have a beautiful environment. So people come to Mesquite and they know that this is a great golf environment. We're lucky that Wolf Creek Golf Course, Corey's course, is one of the most recognized in America. It won the award by Golf Digest. So those are these assets we have. But the truth is, when we talk, is that Mesquite has been shrinking. And then once you get off the growth pattern, it's really, really hard to turn things around. And so, we've been muddling through that. And so I know that we have this base. I know that individual properties are trying to kind of grow things again. You're seeing us do in the 21st, 24th of February a off-road weekend, and I'm excited about that. But you're looking at someone who plays golf and likes to read magazines, and we're doing an off-road weekend. It's frankly, it's frightening. But the reason that we're doing it is because when we looked at what could really sort of move the needle for us, it wasn't something small. We can do different promotions, and maybe it moves our daily rate up a couple dollars. But the truth of the matter is, it really doesn't affect things in a meaningful way where we feel like we're bringing a lot of new visitors, where it's opening up like a different kind of tourists, the kind of people who would want to live here. And so in focus groups that we had done with our other stakeholders, one of the things we learned about was that Mesquite is a very popular place for outdoor recreation. That in February the courses are already full. So we hired a company, Nitro Circus. They've been very successful in the past. They have an unbelievable website. They say when they do these events, they never have less than 5,000 attendees. 5,000 is like larger than anything else we've really seen in Mesquite. When we do the 4th of July, that's people who are living here. They're not like new attendees who are going to pay 25. Actually, I can't remember what the ticket price is, but it's not insignificant. We already knew that our hotels tend to be full in February. Or when I say full, there's some rooms, maybe 10% of the inventory. We needed something that could continue to lift all boats. And so this is something that when the off-wheelers or off-road wheelers bring in their trailers, they often have RVs and campers, so that we knew that we could try to lift this whole economy. So I'm using that as an example of something that is out of our area of expertise. We've been trying to learn about it quickly. The city actually has been, I didn't mean actually do it, but the city has been very, very helpful in terms of trying to help us navigate through all the different permits. We have a representative from Senator Reed's office. The BLM has given us permits to do off-road trails. That's been a little difficult. We can talk about that more after the meeting. But all of these things are necessary so that we can try to create something big enough that can actually, move the needle. Bring visitors who might want to buy a home here. Bring opportunities that if you want to become part of the vendor village, that you can make money on that weekend. So, we are optimistic, but it seems like so many of the things that we do take a tremendous amount of energy. And actually, for us, a tremendous investment to just do it. And, there's no guarantee. I think Andre told me that our break-even is like, actually, he didn't tell me what break-even is. He just told me, Greg, a success is 4,000 paid attendees.
And I'd just like to add, first of all, my appreciation of working with Greg over many years and seeing the kind of investment their family has made to not only, to the community at large, but the commitment we work together about making the golf industry and gaming and trying to provide a top flight experience for a visitor who comes to town. And since we've met, we've been always talking about how do we make the best experience for somebody who doesn't know Mesquite, that visits and says, gosh, I've heard about this great golf community. It's fantastic. And there's this wonderful golf course called Wolf Creek Golf Club, and you can play other great golf courses. Falcon Ridge, Conestoga, the Palmer. We have even the St. George packages have been great. And it's really been trying to provide the best experience for someone. What Greg's been able to do is their family spent a great deal of not only time, but made a tremendous financial commitment in making the rooms better, the casino better. And we do that too at Wolf Creek. We spend a lot of money, put a lot of money back in. And that kind of leads me to, I think, a lot of our discussions internally. And everyone says, how do we get this community moving? I see, I told a councilman who was surprised one time. I had a meeting here at Wolf Creek. I'll leave him nameless, nice guy, very knowledgeable guy. And he said to me, he goes, you read the blogs? I've been surprised you read Mesquite Citizen and Mesquite Local News. Like I was above it. And I said, Councilman, my brother and I have got a $7 million investment. $7 million and probably more before we took over this golf course. Of course I read. Of course I follow the money. It means something to us. It's not a charity. We're here because ultimately we want to drive a profit. It's not a bad word. We look at it, yet at the same time, when we look at our position, we realize that we can't do it alone. We have to have great partners. We got to have a successful community. We got to hope that in our case, the golf courses and the gaming other golf courses provide that same type of experience and conditions. And for example, the nightlife for the folks that come here is good. We got to hope that, for example, that there's other things to do as well, that we can promote a real great city. And so when I talk to people, it's always been interesting too in the last 2 years, and I always, people say, gosh, we got to do this to get this economy going. They start going off on the soapbox, and I say, let me ask you a question. It's a real simple one. How many businesses in the last 10 years have come to Mesquite and left with more money than they started with? And usually there's like silence for about a minute. And they go, gosh, the next response, I never thought about it that way. And I ask them that question is because what I read is everyone wants always the next big, great idea. And from my perspective, from somebody who's invested millions of dollars into this community and spent a lot of time promoting it and talking it up, and obviously a lot of brainstorming with the Eureka Casino and our other partners in the golf industry, particularly, and trying to provide, we're trying to provide a great dining experience and trying to push ourselves for all those things. I always say that there's a lot of great things in this community. Why don't we talk about what we have? We have a lot to sell, folks. We have some great people here. Let me say that again. We have some great people here. Many of you are in this room today. And so the one thing I was telling my executive assistant, she was asking what I was going to say tonight, and I said, the one thing's clear about Mesquite. It doesn't matter what mayor you support, what council you like, where you live, what golf course you do. The one thing we all have in common is we care. That's something we can build on. We have passion. We may need to redirect that passion and put it in the right direction, but we have passion. We have great assets. We have an owner in Greg and his family that put on not only a great experience from a gaming perspective that really blends itself well with golf, but in my opinion, Greg invited me and my family last year, and I saw some of you guys at the 4th of July thing, and I got to tell you, Greg and Andre were telling me about it, and I was like, okay. I got there and I walked the next day, and I'm driving home with my family and in the car, and I probably texted Greg 6 times. He probably thought I was a lunatic, but I was saying that this is the best 4th of July. I used to be a sports agent. I traveled all over the world, and I will tell you, I've been to the 4th of July, the Rose Bowl, where they're big time. This was the single best 4th of July I have ever seen in my lifetime. Okay? And so, in marketing the community, I look at that event and we say, that event could be one of the best in the country. And so what does that answer? That answers the downtime. People say, we have a tough time getting something in this summer. That was in the worst time of year, in the middle of 4th of July. We had packed crowds. We had a patriotic, it was just brilliant. And so when I look at it from my perspective, I think we have a lot of great things to sell, and we have to go one step further. Success breeds success. If you want outside the newest business, good businessmen, legitimate business people in this economy, which is tough, are going to look at your track record. And as your track record isn't day one and how the business that just gave you money. It's years 3 or 4 and how they're doing. And years 3 and 4, if you can show them that this business is successful and it's profitable and it's healthy and they're putting money back into it, then chances are someone's going to say, okay, I want to invest. Now how's the city council to deal with? And how's the chamber to deal with? And these are the kinds of questions that people ask us, I'm sure with Greg and myself in various parts of Nevada when they ask about Mesquite. And I think what you have to say is, as what I would say as a suggestion, I think is as a community, we need to look at the businesses that we have here that are really good. Okay? And it's not just the Eureka and Wolf Creek Golf Club, by the way. And what I mean by that is we have, and I'm just going to single embarrass some people, but let me tell you, Kathy Lee should never wait in line for any reason in the city of Mesquite. Okay? This is the single most positive person I think I've ever met. If you called her at 2 in the morning to promote a concept, you told her you have less than 20 minutes. We've got like the next person he happens to be traveling through here. Kathy Lee will, throw on the garb, the hat, whatever it is. She'll be promoting Mesquite. We have Danielle's Chocolates. Who does not like Danielle's Chocolates? Fantastic. And how about, how great is Ready Golf? Okay, we have some good businesses. I have a lot more to say, but if you want to jump in, I can keep going. Because I want to add to some of these points, but go ahead.